Don't you just love a fresh course? The soft ground and changing track adds the variability and spice of a wet race while also providing the high speeds and impressive visuals of a dry event. Combine that with the deepest and most competitive pool of racers we've ever had, and you've got a sporting trifecta of visual delights. I really enjoyed that race. The boys have got to get on the road to Canada, so I'd love to give you a really quick-ish recap of the best moments and also help to set the scene before we go into the final round in Mont Saint Anne. So buckle up, drop a passive-aggressive comment, check the like button still works, and join me for the Downhill World Cup Round 9 race recap. Race favourite Alita Osgaard was super early and she absolutely sent it down that mountain. The proper gnarly rock gardens up top were ticked off with a confident flow, which was really Alita at the best we have seen her. And she also had the power and scales down the bottom to set an unreal time so early in the running order. The American racers were the ones to really ride the wave of good energy. There's nothing like racing at home to bring out the best in you, and Matilda Melton embrace that vibe on her run. She's been a smooth and consistent rider all season, but the intensity jumped up at home, which helped her to get the best result of the year in second place. Eliana Hulsbach has been on a furious mission to get her first win this season. She won last year in Val di Sole, but it's not come to her this season with lots of mistakes and crashes. The racecraft has been improving this season and she was close at World Champs in second place, but after qualifying in first this week, it felt like this could be the one. And she came out swinging with some blistering top splits and was on pace to make it happen. But some small mistakes on the bottom slopes and some mistimed jumps lost her momentum to finish in third. And that meant Alita took the win at home. And where was series leader Rosa Zero? Down in fifth, which is only her third time ever finishing off a podium at any downhill race. And that means instead of Rosa wrapping up the series at this race like we all expected, it comes down to the final round in Mont Saint Anne. Asa had a little luck on his side though, making it through to the finals. He had an issue in qualifying with a flat tire, putting him early in the running order, and he capitalised on that opportunity. The crowd were chanting his name and it reverberated through the valley as he dropped in for his run. His top splits were good, but a little messy in spots with a front wheel washout, a foot dab and a save. Then he opened up the taps on the high-speed motorways. A combination of his power, weight and aerodynamic knowledge adds up to give him sector times that only were topped by the older American powerhouse. Asa, like Alita before, sat in the hot seat for a long wait. Another big rider who can make a bike move when he wants it to is Tyler Waite. So we were expecting a big run from the Kiwi and he delivered with top splits on par with Asa. He couldn't quite match Asa on the lower fast slopes, but he did send the triple, which was a rare sight on race day and a pleasure to watch. He slotted in just behind Asa and took the prize for the only podium finish to pull the crowd-pleasing gap. Then it was fastest qualifier Max Alran's turn, and you know, I genuinely had to like readjust myself on my seat just to make sure I didn't fall out of it when this dude takes to the track. He does the most insane things on a bike and makes them look easy, which is really hard to do, especially on a track like that. Max was the first rider to cleanly gap those massive compressions in the top woods, which he credited Joe Breeden for pulling first, and he got it so smooth and clean. That theme went on in the top woods with him finding flow where others didn't. He pulled another insane gap which was just so tight and awkward and even less people had ever attempted it. I wouldn't call Max a powerful rider, but his aggressive precision of placing the bike perfectly into the transitions while maintaining a low and attacking position allowed him to get the second fastest lower sectors. And add that to his unbelievable top section and you have another win for Max Alran and a slightly bigger buffer of 32 points going into the final round. Second fastest time of the day too, which is just sick. The title fight in the elite women's category has been between a consistent Vali Höll and an electric Gracie Hemstreet. But nobody really considered if the series could be won this week, even though it was mathematically possible. Gracie finished in 10th, which is her worst result of the year, and she will be gutted to have lost the championships before getting to our home race next week. You know, I thought after Miriam pulled out of the finals at the last round that might be it. An injury taking her out for the year and the rumoured retirement may be called early. But that is not what happened with Miriam. She turned up and showed us some of her best riding this week. She really threw herself into those massive bomb holes up top and just let the bike deal with it. She looked loose and confident, attacking over the front. Same line as Max Alran, turning sharp inside on that dusty left. Then on the speed trap straight, I got a surprise. Miriam chose to do like a stood up, straight leg speed tuck down that straight, which is just not the fastest way to do it. But then she mentioned in Wynn's interview that her legs were cooked from her low stance through that top woods. She was trying to open out her muscles and rest her legs. And it was the right choice, as it gave them enough energy to keep it flowing down the bottom, carry the speed over the jumps and into the hot seat. Sasha Earnest is a rider that everyone at the races knows has the speed to win a race. When she bust onto the scene as a junior, she lit up sector times that were smoking the elites. And I can remember seeing her through that Lenzerheide rock garden at her first World Cup and thinking, who the hell was that? Trek thought the same and snapped her up while still a junior, and she brought them many podium results. At this round in Lake Placid, Sasha got her best qualification of the year in second. On her race run, things didn't start too well. Her riding was smooth and fluid and honestly really good. But a couple of stalls mixed with a lack of intensity saw her on the same second as Gracie at split 2. And I'll remind you, Gracie finished in 10th. This meant Sasha had a lot of work to do in the lower slopes. And boy did she. Sasha was the fastest rider from split 2 onwards. What really made the difference in my eyes was how she placed the bike into the landings. She was so accurate with catching the sweet spot of the transitions, and the bike was crucially straight when landing. Take that final shark fin for example. Nearly every single women elite rider landed squint on this jump, causing a lot of their forward momentum to be converted into heat and noise. Sasha has great jumping technique. It showed with a smooth and confident carve off the shark fin, popping the front, then the rear, landing nice, crisp and straight, taking all her speed to the finish for her first elite podium of the year in 3rd. That's why I thought she did so well, but actually let's check. Sasha, where did all that extra speed come from at this race?
Trick is bangers and mash every day for lunch, but...
Wait, sorry, what?
Bangers and mash for lunch.
That's the trick?
That's the trick. It's work, Lenzerheide here, and I guess Montsenam will do the same. Must be all the pedaling. I was in the hardest gear, but yeah, all the BMX really helped me out with all the cornering and stuff like that, yeah. I had a good Endora, which was just before the summer break, and I think that really motivated me and made me understand I could actually do a lot better than what I have been doing in the start of the season.
Nice one, Sasha. I'm feeling hungry myself now. Well, on to the fastest qualifier. Newly privateered racer Vali Höll, who seems to have figured out how to get in the right headspace to deliver her best at this final round. And you could see it in her riding, with her looking faster than everyone else in practice, and proving that by winning qualifying by 5 seconds. Insane time margin on this track. On her race run, she looked so good on that tricky top section, confidently putting those tyres exactly where they needed to be. Then we had what I think is the best example of how she was riding, the grassy off camber. Not only did she take a risky line showing confidence and desire, she intentionally took her foot out, which is something she never does. Then she put the foot back on, rode the very edge of grip, two-wheel drifted over the next crest in complete control. It might not have been faster, but honestly, one of the best examples of bike control I've seen from her in a while, and I was seriously impressed. By the time I picked my jaw up off the floor, Vali perfectly rode the shark fin, crossed the finish, took the win, and took the overall series win as well. Job done. In the elite men's race, a really defining feature developed over the race in the shape of the monstrous compressions in the top woods. We'd seen Max Alran gap them in the juniors, and the elites definitely saw that and thought, well, damn, I'm either pulling that or I'm going to have to ride the bronco through there and hope for the best. The scale of this pull is hard to comprehend. Richie Rude tried to pull it in the morning training, came up short, and he hit the ground so hard he had to pull out of the race with a concussion. I love features like this, where there is a lot of time to be found through sheer commitment and bravery. It's a sick section. First podium finisher came in the form of the absolutely unbelievable Henry Kiefer, who has fully flipped a switch and is now just a regular podium guy. 3 podiums in a row. That was hard enough when it was a 5-person podium, let alone a 3-person one. Henry has found an intensity that he seems to be able to hold from top to bottom without making mistakes. 3rd place on the day and now 10th in the overall, which is super impressive for the 2nd year elite. And while Henry was chilling in that hot seat, rider after rider failed to beat him, which is a position he's been in a few times this year. I bet he wasn't too worried about Luke Smith though, who's had plenty of top 20s this year, but he's not really cracked the top 10 pace. But Luke went faster than Henry at split 1, and Henry sat up and started to pay attention. Luke, hailing from Australia, will no doubt have more of an affinity with the dust and rock than others, and he fully embraced it on his run, coming out of the tech woods faster than Kiefer. He's also the most powerful rider on the World Cup circuit. The dude's just like a ball of pure unadulterated muscle, and he unleashed it on the lower slopes, powering his way down to the finish to go into the lead by nearly a second. And it seems like, as a track of 2 halves, most riders had a half they were stronger on, but Luke was just brilliant everywhere. No fastest sectors, just composed speed top to bottom. Then it was down to the fastest qualifier, Luca Shaw. The soft-spoken American with the legs of steel was going so good on the track in Lake Placid. He clearly went for the win up top, with him attacking and overcooking some sections, causing stalls and losing time. And then when he popped out the woods, over 2 seconds back, I know I felt myself thinking, it's a shame, would have been nice to see Luca get a good one. But you can't count out those legs. Luca started winding them up and laid down power with precision to pull back 10th after 10th the whole way down. He was reeling in Luke's time, and you could see Luke getting nervous as the gaps kept dropping. Luca posted fastest sector after fastest sector, and the legs just kept going. Coming into the finish, he pulled almost a full second back on Luke in the last 25 seconds alone. But it was only enough for 2nd place, and honestly, really impressive result for Luca. 1st podium of the year. But what about the all-important series battle? Well, quick correction here. Ron Goldston, Jackson's dad, noticed a mistake I've made for the past 2 years when I said qualifying points are awarded in the final, at the final round. That's not a rule anymore. There is only 250 race points awarded and not 300. I checked last year's final results and Big Daddy Troy only got 250 for winning. So Bruni was expected to best Goldston here. The track seemed to play more into his favour with all the speed carrying sections on track. But Bruni faltered. Stalls, mistakes, and a crucial overshoot into the upslope of the on-off that lost him time that he did not have to spare. That run didn't look like the one you were looking for. Did you think you were going to increase your lead at this race? Like, do you think you were going to beat him at this one?
The first day I was a bit looking for myself. I was just riding like to be honest, so it was difficult. I hit a tree, hurt my shoulder. I was like, what is happening to me? You know, like I felt like I was trying to do things as my normal routine and nothing was clicking, so it was quite difficult. Then yesterday things started to make sense and I was decent, and today I was starting to have fun, so I feel like I was a bit late to get going, but could have been worse, to be honest. So the approach was not much different. I was a little bit unfocused maybe, or something was off, and the track was definitely tricky, so I paid the price and I wasn't quick enough to find the flow and the speed, but it's not too bad. It's obviously not as good as I wish. I wish I could have scored more points than Jackson this weekend and made the gap a bit more comfortable, and now it's not at all. But at least it's fun for the drama, you know. Not fun for it's fun for us too, I guess. Like, you know, like we're in the start gate, it's all or nothing, so that's what we want.
Definitely a frustrating one. How are you now feeling going into the final round? Are you confident? Are you nervous?
Yeah, Jackson, when he has pressure in MSA, he's been delivering in the past. It will be really, really hard to beat. But man, I've been riding average the last few races, so I'm up for the challenge. I also want to deliver there, so we'll see. It'll be a good battle. It's been amazing this year to fight at the top, and I'll be proud of my season no matter what. But for sure, I want to deliver in MSA, and I've been good in the past too. I just need to find some little extra motivation and fire.
We've been hearing all about your upcoming news of being a new dad. Has that been playing on your mind or distracting you?
not long until the baby comes out, so it's in my mind. But I got a lot of good reasons to be here too, and the team is all ready for me. They're available for the performance, and I have to be too. So if I'm not a like I told, I'll make it happen. So let's hope for Super Bruni to come out, not Bruni.
Well, Bruni, thanks for your honesty, and I think I speak for everyone where I say thank you so much for the racing this year, and I cannot wait to see this play out next week. So Bruni faltered. Did Jackson capitalize? Well, Jackson Goldstone was 100 points back going into this round, and after a poor qualifying was further back than that. He launched out the gate, got that tricky huck pretty good in his run, and was attacking so hard into the next corner he almost got spat out the front door. He applied his poppy style in great fashion through the whooped out upper woods, picking that bike up over obstacles and finding transitions to keep things flowing. He then pulled the same gap as Max Alran again towards the end of that top wood section, which either shows similarities in their style or that Jackson is an absolute god at seeing cool lines on the live feed and then pulling them blind. It's probably both. Now, Jackson knew he was going to lose time at the bottom. Physics just isn't in his favour. So he did well to come out onto the motorway sections as the fastest rider on the hill, which is exactly what he needed to do. But Jackson didn't lose much time on the bottom. He really should have, but he rode the lower slopes so good. He genuinely must have such an efficient riding style because he always seems to have more energy and precision at the bottom of a run compared to his competitors. And he worked that bike through every transition absolutely perfectly, even pulled for the triple. And he finished in a seriously impressive 4th place. 2 positions in front of a frustrated Bruni, meaning that 100-point lead that Loic had is now down to 72 points going into the final race. And a final race in Canada with a Canadian battling him for the win, who wiped the floor with everyone the last time he raced there. And if he does that again, which feels likely, Bruni would have to finish in 3rd to deny Jackson the series win. My good friend Tommy Wilkinson is drawing comparisons with a famous series battle between the old established champion and the up-and-coming talent back in 2001 at the World Cups. But we'll dive into that next week. You will not want to miss it. See you there.